Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this short exploration and webinar. There's more to life than thinking about yourself, and that goes for life, relationships, and business. So, Mark and I are delighted to just be in this exploration with you today and to open up to a beautiful feeling together and to really see the benefit of when we get beyond insecure thinking that centers on ourselves. So this will be about 30 to 45 minutes, and a recording will be also offered. But just enjoy this with us. And towards the end, we will also share with you an opportunity to take the conversation deeper in our new program that's around the corner. So, Mark, do you want to open up there together?
Oh, for sure. Just again, wonderful to be with all of you today. I see some familiar faces and really glad to see you and hope all's been going well. Well, it's 2 years now that Grace and I talked with one another about an understanding that a teacher of ours, Sydney Banks, shared about self-esteem. And at the time that we met with him, at that time, here in the United States, there were programs to try to give uh, um, give students, young children, self-esteem. And we told him about this, and he said, "Wait a minute, everybody has self-esteem right now, were it not for their silly beliefs." And that hit me. And it really woke up to the fact that two things, and that is one, I think a lot about myself, and I learned that really early in life. I remember as a grammar school student that in one of my classes in math, there were pins on this board, uh, all of the students and how well people were doing in math had these pins, and there were people ahead of me, there were people behind me. So right away, very early in my life, I started to learn how to compare myself. And so I really saw that that was getting in the way of self-esteem, but really these beautiful feelings we have within us for happiness and well-being, creativity, responsiveness, it's all there. Like Sydney Banks mentioned, right now, were it not for, he said silly beliefs, but it's just, were it not for us thinking about ourselves and how much we do. So then Grace and I started talking about this and thought, really, we need to share this with people. And so we created several programs over the past year and a half to really meet with people and help people realize their true nature of what's called self-esteem, but these beautiful feelings and the wisdom that lies within us once we begin to quiet down the thinking about ourselves. And so we're moved again to talk with you and offer what we have seen about how thinking about ourselves gets in the way in many areas of our lives. And, when we were meeting, Grace and I, when we were meeting together to kind of think about how could we offer this, it just occurred to us like as an insight in that moment around, what, there's more to life than thinking about yourself. That just came to us as we were talking. And it really is powerful because you see, there's more to the life you're living than thinking about yourself. I remember sitting here where I live in the San Francisco area of California in the United States. there's the Pacific Ocean. And one day I was sitting with a friend looking out at the Pacific Ocean, which is a beautiful, powerful thing to see. And he's turned to me and he said, "You know what, Mark? If our thinking just quieted down that much, that life would come into us. We would be immersed in that beauty of life." So that's what occurred to Grace and I, with this feeling that, thinking about ourselves just really is a minuscule aspect of what's available to us in life. And once we quiet that down, once we look away from thinking about ourselves, the whole wisdom of life, the beauty of life comes within it, shows up with us. We drop into that. And with that, we get the wisdom, the guidance to live our lives toward happiness and well-being and service to others. So we talked about that this time, and we thought, you know what? This also works with people who want to have a prosperous business. Grace and I mentor a lot of life coaches, and counselors and consultants, but this applies beyond that to anyone who is serving people with their particular business. That if you were really offering something to someone and you weren't thinking about yourself, you would just be in these beautiful feelings. And part of being in those beautiful feelings is to help your customer, is to help your clients, is to be of service to them, to offer them your inspiration that you use to create your business, you see. And so we wanted to talk about that as well in this webinar, that it's not just within our individual lives that there's more to life than thinking about yourself, but it's also valuable for you in whatever you're doing in life, whatever it is that is your career. The less you can think about yourself, the more you're in your calling, the more you're in being guided by what you felt that allowed you to create your business or your coaching practice or your health practice. The minute we do stop thinking about ourselves, how it's going, self-doubt, uncertainty, comparing ourselves to someone who's got a tremendous program out there, I do that from time to time. Whenever I see an announcement from Michael Neal about his next program, I get caught in thinking about, oh man, why don't I do that? What's wrong with me? But my remembering not to think that way drops me back into what's right for me. See? So all of that thinking is just different ways that we misuse, really, this power we have to think about life. And the minute we can just recognize it and quiet that down, in comes our creative ideas, our inspiration, our wanting to be of service. And in that feeling, you delight your customers, you delight your clients. And that's what they're looking for. So that's what we wanted to share with you today, that this whole topic of there's more to life than thinking about yourself applies in every aspect of your life. And Grace and I came to the realization that we could really be of service to people who want to prosper more in their work or their career, or really just have a calling and want to follow that. Early on in my work with this understanding that's been called the three principles, I mentored a lot of mental health professionals, psychiatrists, psychologists. And when what was getting in their way was, they would call it burnout, but it was really a lot of thinking about themselves innocently, Um, they got discouraged, they got into dissatisfaction, they got into self-doubt, and all of that was moved them away from that initial inspiration that they were given to help humanity through their career. So as we looked at how that thinking, just thinking about yourself, just that was getting in the way, and that you really wanted to come back to those beautiful feelings we might call a calling you had to become a mental health professional, or that inspiration. In those feelings, you have the wisdom to know where to go next. And once you sit in that feeling, all self-doubt, all self-evaluation leaves, and you're in the purity of the intelligence that is guiding you in your life to be of service to the world in your way. So we wanted to talk more in that direction today with you all, and help you see the possibility and potential that not only does it kind of knock your socks off to realize uh, all you have to do is settle down your thinking about yourself to live in self-esteem, but also that you could really create a prosperous career or business that you are inspired to create every day. Again, if you, let go of a lot of the thinking you have about yourself. So just to get us started today, I wanted to lay that foundation. That's the feeling that you want to look for, because in the feeling of self-esteem, of inspiration, of wanting to serve, of creating something that you just wanted to do, in those feelings is the wisdom and the guidance to bring it about and keep it going. One more thing before I check in with Grace over there, but I was just coaching a young woman who wanted to create like just a business that sold baking goods, and her mother had created a restaurant, and her mother wasn't hopeful about her daughter just creating a business selling baking goods, but her daughter knew it was right for her. She dropped into the unknown and just helped herself, as we worked together, helped herself not get caught too long in comparisons or self-doubt or evaluating how it's going, but continue to live in her feeling to create that. And it happened. So, um, so again, just to help us see that we have beautiful feelings that once we quiet down thinking about ourselves, those feelings can serve us, not only in relationships and feelings about ourselves, but also it can enhance and enlighten um, the business we want to create. So Grace, I just wanted to check in with you and see if that made sense, or if there's more that you wanted to add to that.
Well, it makes more than sense. It just draws us into this beautiful feeling, Mark, which is why I love collaborating with you as well. It's just so rich. Um, I think what I have noticed is that when we fall into that feeling, as you mentioned, there's a responsiveness to the moment. And beyond that, for those of us that are running our own businesses or self-employed, there's a level of accessing ideas that help us generate and move forward with our businesses. And what I have seen is that in those beautiful feelings, in that quieter state of mind, I've seen it in myself and my clients, we have access to divine mind in a way that we get ideas that move us forward. I would say, as I got less and less in the experience of thinking about myself, self-consciousness, I got more and more into inspired action. And when I look back now, I just see how innocently caught up I was with everything needing to be perfect. And I still get caught in layers of that today. But the difference being I can see it. It doesn't have the same grip. And when we're not living in that experience of everything having to be perfect before we're going to take any action, guess what happens? We're in inspired action. We're having those divine mind ideas, not the ideas that we think up for our business, but rather the ideas that we hear or get downloaded to us from a completely different state of mind. And that to me is a winning ingredient for success in any business, not just in the coaching industry. And there's something freeing about not being so self-conscious, not thinking about ourselves so much. Whether you're attending an event and it's about getting dressed and you constantly worry about how you look, or whether it's about putting yourself out there with your offers, your sharing of how you understand, the principles, or whether it's more around just a kind of a self-consciousness, an uneasiness that you live in, a tension, an anxiousness. This freedom of mind that's available as we get beyond self-evaluation it's not just freeing for us, but it's actually impactful for those that we end up being with. So I just wanted to share that a little bit, Mark, because I think really that the biggest change for me was in getting that freedom of mind around self. And I saw the results of that immediately in business, but also personally. I used to be very argumentative in my relationship. I used to take everything personally. And I saw that as I got beyond thinking about myself, or even that changed for the better. So yeah, I think that's it.
Well, I just wanted to encourage people who are with us for the first time, just getting to know how we have seen this very powerful topic. And you just want to sit with, aren't you amazed that the feelings you're looking for, we could call it self-esteem, we could call it love and understanding. Aren't you just amazed that the only thing in the way of you living in those is like Sydney Banks shared with me, the silly beliefs we have about ourselves. Now, he wasn't denigrating our beliefs, but he helped us see, don't take yourself so seriously. And if you don't, you have what you're looking for. Now, you don't, it isn't about a strategy to not think about yourself. That doesn't work. I've seen that through my career, that people who have kind of strategies to think positively about themselves, it really doesn't have a deep impact. All we're pointing to is an understanding you can find, that you can reflect on, consider. Because if you get a little glimmer that this is true, then you'll start to realize it more and more. You'll deepen your understanding that, oh no, there I go again. I'm thinking about myself. And that little shift helps us, move away from that habit we've learned to the deeper essence that we are. So there's nothing to do here. It's just to sit in, that's all it is. In other words, the only thing in the way of you having self-esteem or the confidence, self-confidence, or moving beyond self-doubt is thinking of yourself, and to just sit with that, let it percolate. Because no strategy will work. You want to realize the truth of this for yourself. And once you see it for yourself, you will be on the road to freeing yourself around self-consciousness. I have a friend of mine who kind of shared this with groups. He and I used to teach together in the 90s, and he would say, you see this indentation in my forehead? It's from going, oh no, there I go again, And that's kind of like how this is. I'll do that for myself. I won't go like this, but I'll say, oh wow, there I go again. I'm thinking about myself. And that knowing allows me to drop away from it. So that's really how to take today's webinar, is just take it, see if it doesn't amaze you about the fact that you already have within you the self-confidence, the responsiveness, the creativity, the inspiration, the nice feelings of connection to other people that all of us are looking for. The other piece I just wanted to add was, this would help you even if you're working for other people. Like if you're a professional working in an organization, being able to think less about yourself allows you to, again, be of service to this organization and the clients and customers of that organization. I worked for many years with this understanding in a psychiatry department in a medical center. But this understanding helped me get away from dissatisfaction, helped me get away from the insecurity of working in an organization. It helped me get away from self-consciousness about whether or not I was measuring up to par. And once I did, I got ideas about how to create, how to be of service, how to help my colleagues. So today, when we're talking about how this applies to careers and business life, it also is so valuable if you are on staff somewhere, or you're heading a program for an organization, or you're a president of a company or running a team. You are much more powerful because of the guidance, as Grace mentioned, from this divine mind, not thinking about yourself, whatever your role is. So I hope this has been helpful. Grace, that's really what I've been inspired to share. And
Yeah.
hearing what you have shared, I just wanted to add this other piece to it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so important. It's and it's true. It's not just in the realm of professional, but we have seen how in our work with our clients, we have seen how their professional lives have gotten so much easier, more graceful, and more impactful as they've gotten beyond thinking about themselves. And I'm just thinking back to that insight that I had when I first came across this understanding. And, you know, I had no idea that I was living in such a high level of tension in my body, so concerned with how I was appearing to the world. And in that first insight, what I saw was that I was living self-conscious. I somehow got a little inch of space from that level of self-evaluation. Now, I didn't know I was living in it. I just lived tense and stressed with pain in my neck and pain in my shoulders and stomach issues, digestive problems. I just lived like that. But in the moment that I got a little bit of space from that level of thinking, my world changed. I remember distinctly my body relaxing for the first time. And I didn't know how long, but this relaxed feeling. And people would even comment to me on how much more approachable I now was. I didn't know that I was living, let's say, self-conscious and uptight and serious. But obviously the world was responding to this new freedom of mind that I had because they were feeling me much more relaxed. So, you know, this isn't just around professional, this is also a place where you get to live more at ease. And I can't think of a nicer exploration to support you in getting that easiness, that flow, that gentleness as you walk this world. I think, Mark, maybe we could take a question or two if there is one, or a comment. If there's not, it's okay. But what do you think?
Yeah, that sounds fine. I'd like that.
Anybody like to come on? Anybody got a question or a comment? And just come on the screen, or you don't need to hand up.
Okay. I'm Jimmy.
Hello,
Hi,
great to
Jimmy.
see you.
Okay. Wow. I'm so glad I tuned in today. Um, I'm familiar with both of you from the the internet and whatnot. But what's dawning on me this morning, I was starting to stress out about something, and I noticed that was happening. I could feel the tension in my body, and it dawned on me that the safety that I was looking for wasn't going to be found in my thinking. But and as soon as I had that thought, I felt myself sitting there in the space I was in, and there was my answer. There was my safety. And so my question is, you were using the word self-esteem, and I could certainly relate to that, and boy, it really goes right to what Sid's original inspiration was, or his awakening, was about feeling insecure, thinking he was, that whole story. But to me, it's like all this thinking that I experience is scaring me, and then it's trying to make me safe. And so all of it is just about perceiving that there's some kind of threat. I'm under some kind of threat or in danger. I'm unsafe, and that I need to be safe. And then I scramble trying to find that safety, and looking everywhere but inside, or into just being conscious, that I'm here. and then it's obvious that I'm safe, in the space that I'm in. And so, my question is it just simply about safety? Or is there more to it than that? Because the good feeling when you feel safe, it's a lousy feeling when you feel scared.
Oh, Jimmy, thank you so much for sharing, and great to see you in person, Jimmy. I think you really saw it. You really shared the understanding that's so helpful. That I don't remember all the words, but just the way I hear you is that, you realized you had a recognition that your stress had something to do with your thinking. And once you recognized it, that sense of recognizing that dropped you into a space where you had these feelings that, we're calling self-esteem, but they're all these beautiful feelings of security's part of it, because actually, when you drop into a deeper level of these feelings or consciousness, recognizing how your thinking is leading you to get scared, that recognition drops you into these beautiful feelings. And there isn't really a need for safety then, because you're back to your true self, So safety and fear exist at the level of our thinking, of our scaring ourselves. But once we just recognize, oh, there we go again, and that drops, we're just in this wisdom, in nice feelings. And it isn't about safety anymore. We just know we're home again. People will say, oh man, I'm home again. So I loved what you said. It's exactly that. It's, oh man, I'm stressed out about something, and oh, I recognize this has something to do with the way I'm thinking. I'm scaring myself. But once you recognize that, you shift. The minute you recognize that, you shift. Not practicing a strategy of remembering, oh, this has something to do with my thinking. It just comes to you. And once it does, you drop into this consciousness of well-being and intelligence and insight and so forth. And you could think about it as feeling safe because you feel like you're home. You're back to the truth of the matter. And what we're talking about today, another way of saying about all of this thinking about ourselves, is we have learned ways to scare ourselves, to feel inadequate. And all that is thinking, like you woke up to, Jimmy. So, but once you drop away from fearful thinking, you're just in, calm and peace and wisdom and well-being, and you don't even think about being safe. You just are in another level of consciousness, but you are safe. You're safe from your, your habitual thinking. You're protected from that. Grace, did you have anything you wanted to share?
No, I think that was answered just perfectly. I don't want to add on top of that because I feel like Jimmy got it. So thank you for your question. I think what I'd like to share at this point, we have some more time for questions or comments, but if this subject is resonating with you, I'm going to put a link hopefully in the chat box where you can check out our upcoming 6-week program, and it starts on the 21st of March. The link is gracefulcoaching.net/there is more to life course, all one word. Hopefully you can see that in the chat box, but if you can't, we'll also send out this link with the recording. So it's an opportunity for you to take this beyond an intellectual level I mean, we all can see at some point, you know, as Jimmy described, we can see what's going on, and sometimes we can get into analyzing our thinking. But the place Dr. Mark and I are pointing to is a space where you get an inch or more of freedom from that thinking. And that's what we'd love to invite you to, rather than stay at the level of just seeing your thinking. So I hope that speaks to you. And at the moment, we have an early bird offer available and a 2-part payment plan if that's preferable to you. Is there another question or comment? Does anyone want to come on?
I saw Jan raise her hand.
Hi,
Wonderful.
guys.
Hi,
Hi.
Jan.
Hello, everybody. I'm loving this this conversation, and thank you both. This whole idea of having less of me on my mind is so attractive. What I heard tonight, in a way I hadn't heard it before, it just landed differently, is one thing is this whole area of dissatisfaction. There just seems to be a bit of a pandemic of dissatisfaction where I live anyway at the moment. And there's just so much of me in dissatisfaction. And that just looks really clear now. And it doesn't really matter whether it's relationships or career or work or anything else. It's just actually seeing that connection has done something.
Yeah.
I guess it's put that space that Grace spoke about between what was going on. So thank you for that. And I've forgotten the second one while I was telling you that. So I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jan. I feel like you saw something deeply there that's a game changer. You know, when you suddenly wake up to what's the game you're playing. So I mean, if you got even that in this short webinar, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that openly. Yeah. Isn't it funny how our thinking can be used to create dissatisfaction? And our thinking can be used to create, well, our thinking can be used against ourselves or for ourselves. And you know, as we wake up to that, our world changes as we wake up to that role of thought. Yeah, so thank you. That's a beautiful share.
Thank you both.
You know, Jan, with you sharing reminds me of me. And again, you know, why Grace and I are inspired to share this. Until I had the understanding that we're talking to, and Jimmy spoke of Sydney Banks, who was a teacher for me. I lived in dissatisfaction with my job at this clinic. And you know, I would be looking in those days, in the newspaper, there were newspapers, and there were always a want ad section, and I invariably twice a week I would be looking there out of dissatisfaction. Now, once I realized, just like you did, yeah, I had that sense of this is thinking about myself too. There's a lot more me in dissatisfaction than the clinic, you know. And but see, what I wanted to share with you, why I wanted to share this story is once I got free of that, from understanding that I was thinking about myself in a way that was creating dissatisfaction, I loved my job. I saw how to just stay in loving the work I did with my clients. It just connecting with my colleagues deeper. Uh, and so I wanted to share this because once that slipped away, I was happy with my job. The satisfaction didn't exist any longer. And that's the power available to all of us, and why Grace and I wanted to once again invite you all to our webinar and let you know that, we're going to explore this further.
So once again, everybody, hopefully it's in the chat box, but if it's not, you can check out the full course and get the early bird offer. It's a 6-week course starting March 21st. And the link is www.gracefulcoaching.net/there is more to life course. Just keeping it really simple. So we hope you'll join us. We've run this course in different formats twice now. So we've had beautiful feedback, incredible results that, people have shown us that there's a lot of value in looking in this direction. And so it will be our pleasure to take you and go on this journey together in this direction in a deeper way once more, and see what we see that changes our lives for the better. And Mark, thank you for sharing that about how your job just got better, because, you just reminded me that, it was my relationship that got better as I got free of that thinking too. There was such a level of swinging. Should I stay? Should I go? Should I stay? Should I go? What should I do? Where should I be? And all of that dissatisfaction and that kind of questioning fell away. And I really got to deeply enjoy the remaining years of my relationship before my partner passed. So yeah, thank you for that lovely reminder that this touches all areas of life, and yeah, I feel very grateful to be exploring this and with you.
I'm grateful to be with you, and really happy to see people that I've seen before or met with before here. Just so nice to see you, even though we may not have talked for a couple of years, or it's just great to again just see your faces.
Okay, everybody, we'll leave it there. And we look forward to seeing you in the full course if it resonates with you. And in the meantime, lots of love, and thank you for being here with us today.
Yes, thank you all for being with us. I really love being with you.
Bye.
Bye.